Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet this twisted Christmas headband. It's a really simple construction of rows of half double crochet. We stripe half of it, the other half is solid, then we put them together with this fun little twist technique. It's a very comfy headband and it works great as an ear warmer because it measures about 5.5 inches thick and it's 22 inches around. Now keep in mind, to adjust the size you can add or subtract rows, and it's very stretchy. So keep that in mind also when adjusting your size. Now I made this out of simple half double crochet stitches, so it's really easy to customize. For instance, I used red and white stripes. You could use green and white and make this size red, which I am going to do in the demo to show you that it can be done. But really, you could do this in any colors, and it doesn't have to be just for the Christmas holidays. Make it in black and white, or brown, or use some ombre yarn. Lots of possibilities there. Now you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you're going to need to make our twisted Christmas headband is, of course, some yarn. And we used acrylic medium weight number 4 yarns. All 3 of these are yarn from Hobby Lobby, the I Love This yarn. And I chose to use that particular yarn because it's nice and soft. All right, so you're going to need about 2 ounces of a solid and about 1 ounce of red and white. Of course, they're all solid. Your biggest part here, the green, about 2 ounces, and about 1 ounce of red and white for the striping. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be doing the opposite of this one. I'm going to stripe it in green and white, and then I'm going to make the solid portion in red. So you're going to need basically a total of about 4 ounces of yarn, and that's estimating just a little bit high. All right, so we're going to stitch with our eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You need a needle for weaving in ends, and when we attach the 2 ends together for that twist. And then, of course, you're going to need a pair of scissors. So I'm beginning with my green because I'm going to be doing the green and white stripes. If you're doing the red and white stripes, you'll want to start with your red. All right, so we're going to begin with our slip knot. And we're going to chain 16 chains. There's 12. 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now, I do recommend that you make sure that you chain this initial chain just a little bit loose so the end of it isn't puckered up when we go to put the ends together. All right, so now we're going to place a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. And then we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those chains, working all the way across. One half double crochet in each of our chains across. I stitched 1 half double crochet in each of my chains across, and we began in the second chain from the hook, so we have 15 half double crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're going to begin right in our first stitch and stitch a half double crochet, and then 1 half double crochet in each of those half double crochets across. One half double crochet in each of the stitches working across. I began in the first stitch and stitched 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, so I have 15 half double crochets. I'm not going to chain one because I'm going to bring in my white. All right, now we'll chain one. I'm not going to cut the green yarn. We're going to leave that attached for this portion of our headband. And again, we're going to begin in the first stitch and stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those stitches across. One half double crochet in our white yarn because we're striping in each of those stitches across. 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. Again, I have 15, and you're going to have 15 half double crochets on every row. We chained one, we're going to turn, and again, our chain one does not count as a stitch, and so we're going to half double crochet in each of those half double crochets across. I completed row 4, 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet across. I did not chain one because we're bringing in our green. Snug that down and chain one. We'll be carrying our colors up on the side on the striping area. All right, so we'll turn our work over and we'll do 2 rows of 1 half double crochet in each of those half double crochets across, so that we have 2 rows of the green to make our green stripe. So we're just repeating row 3 and row 4, only in green. I completed row 5 and 6, 2 rows of 1 half double crochet in each end. Now we're going to bring back in our white color and chain one. And so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to continue to repeat 2 rows of white, 2 rows of green, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of green, up through row 22. So you'll continue to repeat row 3 and row 4 for 16 more rows, alternating every 2 rows with our colors to make our stripes. So I have completed those 16 additional rows, and that will get you to row 22. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes of 2 rows of your green or red or whatever color you're using as your beginning stripe color. And then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes of the white, which is 2 rows each. And that will get you to 22. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 rows. All right, so we're done with those colors. So we're going to go ahead and clip that. And we're going to bring in our red or green, whatever you're using, as your solid color for the other side. Now we don't want to chain one there, so we'll pull that out and bring in our red. And chain one. Now we'll turn our work, and again we're going to do rows of 1 half double crochet in each of those half double crochets across. And again, each row will have 15 half double crochets. I completed that first row in my next color. Chain one and turn. And again, our chain one does not count as a stitch, and we're just going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those half double crochets across. I completed that second row in our solid color section. And now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat this. This is row 24. You're going to repeat row 24 for 20 more rows. And that's going to get you a nice long solid section of red, which is green on my other headband ear warmer. All right, so we're going to repeat row 24 for 20 more rows. So I repeated these rows, and so now I have 22 rows of my solid and 22 rows of my stripe. All right, now you want to make sure if you added extra rows to make it longer, or you took out some rows to make it shorter to fit smaller or larger heads, that you end up on this end where over here we carried our yarn. Okay, and so now we're going to do a row of single crochets just down this side. So we've chained one, and we're going to evenly single crochet down the side. The solid portion really isn't difficult. You just want to try to place them together, trying to stitch in the stitches and not the holes, so you get a nice even row of single crochets. All right, and so we'll just work this down till we reach that striping area. And when we get to the striping portion, we want to make sure that we stitch over those sides where we carried that yarn, because we want it to be neat and tidy. All right, so we're going to evenly single crochet down to here, and then I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to change colors to the green, and then I'll show you how to evenly stitch across those carried yarns. I evenly single crochet down the side on the solid portion. Now I'm going to change to my green yarn, and I'm going to cut off the red, and we'll come back in and weave those in later. All right, now we're going to evenly single crochet across the striped area. Let me snug that down. There we go. All right, move that red out of the way there. And what we want to do is stitch over those yarns where we trailed it up on the sides. And I stitched over those green yarns just to get them to lay down, but I am going to come back in and weave those in with my needle. And I'm going to do the same thing with this white one. Just going to make a couple stitches over it, and then I'll move that out of the way, and again I'll come back in with my needle and weave that in. Now what's important here is this yarn that we carried when we striped, and we want to make sure that when we stitch our single crochets that we stitch around that. That's going to help it stay secure, and it's also going to hide it so it looks nice and neat. And see, from the front you won't see it, and from the back you won't see it, except for these where I need to weave those in. And we'll come back and do that when we finish this. So I completed this side. I'm going to cut my yarn and tie this off. And now I have a lot of weaving in to do. I need to do the beginning here, the ending here, all of these where we changed colors, and weave those in. So I'll just take my needle, thread those tail of yarns on there, and just start weaving those in till they're nice and secure. So I completed the whole edge there. Now we're going to take the headband with the wrong sides facing out, and we're going to bring it up like this, and we're going to fold it like this. Sort of sandwiched together. All right, now I have a needle that I've threaded on some yarn, and we're just going to stitch it together. So we'll start here and go all the way across. I'm just going to make a loop, then I'll make it nice and snug. And then we'll just whip stitch going all the way across all 4 of those thicknesses. And I do it just a little bit loose at first, just to get across. Make sure we're catching everything. And I want the end nice and tidy. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to go back the way that I came. And we're snugging this nice and down. Stitching it across. All right, now before I tie it and everything, I'm going to turn it over, take a good look, make sure it's nice and secure. And it is. And so I'm going to take these 2 strings where I started and where I ended and give them a good tie. And then I'm going to grab my needle again and hide those strings. Just weave those in. We don't want those on the end there to stick out. So the ends are all weaved in. It's nice and tidy. We're going to flip it over. All right. And there you have a nice twisted Christmas headband. And so that is our twisted Christmas headband and ear warmer, because it's nice and thick and will keep your ears warm while you're out looking at Christmas lights. And be sure and use these as photo props as well. And remember, if you need to make them smaller, do less rows. If you need them longer, do more rows. It's a super simple pattern that makes a super Christmassy fun time. All right, and of course you can do these in any colors that you want, and you can wear them any way that you want. Super fun, super easy, and super twisted.